Hello, my name is Carx82 and welcome back to our GregTech New Horizons Season 2. I am just doing a couple things here and there while we are smelting up all our tungsten steel. Now this does take a little while, so basically I have just had my computer running while I was doing other stuff, and it was smelting up for me. I got kind of tired of manually inputting oxygen and hydrogen and nitrogen. I actually haven't done hydrogen yet. I don't use it a whole lot, but we will probably be using a bit more. It's used in the tungsten trioxide, this one. But that's the only thing I'm using it for at the moment. And I'm not doing this all the time, but we probably will be the farther we progress. So I'm gonna hook that up. I probably even have room for, nope. That's the, I am out of channels over here. Probably going to expand this. Just haven't figured out how I want to do that. I will probably have a central location again. And I can't remember what I did, like 5 or... There is a limit on how wide it can get. I don't remember the actual dimensions, but I'm thinking probably like 7. And then I could maybe even do like that or something, and then I have plenty of room to attach the things. I don't know. We'll get to that. But I definitely want a nice big area to do that, because that was one of my things I didn't like about the first season. I made that room way too small, so it was almost frustrating trying to get 1,000 channels. But yeah, so that is going along, and I think I love how I'm not using the train to get over there, but this is mostly for just show, for when I do a base tour at some point. I think it'll be really cool just driving around on trains, but I don't use that normally. I'm thinking I may just turn these into more like a decorative kind of block, because as I am progressing, I'm just finding it quite annoying. And the biggest problem is when I need, say, oxygen, there's no easy way to get it out. I have to like manually fly over here, and the big tanks, you know, these fluid things don't work very well with this. I can do that, but it only puts 8 in, so that's annoying. And if I want to put other stuff in, like I emptied out a tank, I think it had like 60, no, it had like 100 and something buckets. I had to manually put it in here 8 buckets at a time and just over and over and over again to get it into this tank, which I'm like, okay, this is a bit silly. So I'm thinking I may actually just, instead of having the things go directly in, I may actually just switch these tanks out for iron tanks. I'm pretty sure I can get all the stainless back, right? If I can't, then I won't switch them out, but pretty sure I can. I cannot smelt. I was thinking I could smelt those down. Okay, maybe I won't. I was thinking we could throw them in the... Alright, so you can actually do that in... I mean, that's an annoying recipe, but you can actually get the iron tank and the steel tank materials back. Unfortunately, you can't do that with the ones they have added. Alright. That's a lot of stainless steel. Alright. Maybe I will continue that. But what I'm thinking is I may actually just have the... Instead of having these stuff go directly in here, I may just kind of make it a cosmetic thing and... like the main thing will be these tanks, and we'll, you know, do super tanks, and we can even, I mean, they go really, really big. I mean, not that one. These quantum tanks, I mean, look how much fluid they hold. A billion? That's a million. That's a million buckets of fluid in that. And there's even, is this even buildable? Oh, it does have a recipe. Holy cow. I don't remember one being that big. But we can continue increasing the size as we need. And I think what I will do is basically just throw a, like a, do I not have any? I could even throw like a pump to pump it in there. So these will basically just always be full. We won't be exporting the fluid. And then when I kind of come into this room, we'll have all these full tanks of different colors and stuff. But basically, they'll just be cosmetic. And all the fluids will actually be stored in storage tanks underneath. And then the storage bus will go on that. And you know, we'll just have the P2P networks on those. I'd still like having one P2P per fluid. I know that is way extra channels than we really need. I could use ender conduits and stuff, but I don't know. I like having one P2P. I like channels. I don't know. I'm a big fan of channels. I think they're fun. I have a lot of fun trying to puzzle out how to get the channels back to the main base and all sorts of stuff. So I do think I'm going to keep that. But like I said, I think I'm going to basically switch these out for super tanks, and then we'll just fill up those. Unfortunately, with the stainless, that is a pretty large tank that I would just have of like useless, non-usable gas if I did that. But I don't know. Like for example, like nitrogen, this is completely full. I'll just be like, okay, so that's done, and then we'll switch it to that. But anyway, the other thing that lets me do is go to the terminal, and eventually we will have wireless. But I can go here and then actually access the I could just click on that and get that out, because fortunately it doesn't work like that. So all right, anyway, that is a lot of talking while this has been going. So we will be back in quite a while. That's what, 10,000 seconds? Is that right? Yep. So we'll just let that run. And I think we are pretty good. I do have this running as we're doing that as well. Okay, gone ahead. We got most of the casings. I think I actually need a few more for the thing that goes in the middle. I'll worry about that in a second, though. I have gone ahead and crafted, well, I'm about to craft up the controller or whatever, and I made recipes for all the mainframe stuff, so we can actually auto craft these now. They are quite expensive because you need 8 nanoprocessors each, but I mean, in general, the stuff that goes into it really isn't that terrible. Now, if you need like 100 or something like that, that would be expensive. But at this point, you know, like gold and copper and aluminum isn't too bad. Now, as you noticed, apparently these have to be full. It won't work on the empty ones, so I am just gonna switch these out. Yeah. Hopefully that didn't. No, I don't think that. No, there is a buffer in there, of course. So by pulling that, I was like, I hope that didn't like turn off stuff, or my clean room. Basically, the clean room I was more concerned about, because that takes a while to spin up again. All right, so there we go. There is the actual controller. So I can start placing this down. Now, what I am thinking is this build is going to be broken down kind of not that long away, I think. And I think I'm actually going to replace, you know, like burning all the charcoal for steam, I think I'm actually gonna convert my nuclear into a fluid nuke instead and produce superheated steam, and we'll do it that way. Because one, that is a cool build, and it's more efficient, and yeah. So that is kind of the plan for this. So a lot of this is all going to be torn down. But I'm kind of thinking where this build actually is where I want this big buffer kind of thing. That's kind of where I was getting at. So when I redesign this soonish, I'm probably going to move this buffer to right there. So I'm actually going to, I think, place this kind of right here for the time being. I keep saying that, but I don't want to break all this down quite yet. Although, I mean, technically, we're barely producing any power from it, really, at this point. But I just, do I want to break that down right now? This is a lot of, that is a lot of stuff, just in general. And I want to convert this to, it'll be like superheated steam eventually. But you know what? Yeah, let's just start placing this down and get this. I actually don't know. This probably can't be... I'm just thinking, I'm like, this probably can't be... I really like the way these blocks look. That's like a really cool looking block. I do kind of wish they all connected, but... Alright, this was bottom something, wasn't it? Front, center, bottom. Alright, so that will go there. And then... I think this will go... There's 2 layers of this stuff. Now, question is, how do we... Yeah, that looks really cool. Looks so much better than the other, this thing. That is so ugly, that multi-block. Sorry, not sorry. Question is, how are we going to feed this power? So, this is actually outputting HV. I'm thinking, well, we can have multiple inputs, right? It's not just one. I'm assuming you can have more than one, right? That would suck if you could only have one. One energy and one dynamo would be kind of sad, but I'm assuming I could probably do multiple. Slight problem though. We can't input... We don't have... I can't do IV dynamos yet. One, we don't have an IV assembler, we don't have an IV cutting machine, and we don't have an IV... That's the IV assembler. Don't we need like an IV... We need an IV chemical reactor for that, and we may even need an IV... No, that one we can actually do. So there's quite a few things. I cannot do an IV dynamo. So I can't put the power up like I'm doing right here. We're transforming it up into 1 amp of IV, although I actually don't need this anymore, since I have slowly crafted up 4 of these. Although they are running a bit low, because I had the thing running so much. So I guess I need to really kind of figure out how many I can put in here. Because I was thinking maybe doing 1 per... Like 1 HV hatch for that, and then... Again... it's kind of pointless, but I like it. I'm staying with Steam. We are doing Steam from beginning to end of this mod pack. So how would I do the 3 amps? Is kind of... That's what I'm kind of trying to decide. How am I going to get that in there? Can we do... No. The other thing is we have 4 amp energy hatches, but that only starts at IV. Unfortunately, there is no EV. That accepts up to 2 amps, actually. All right, that's what we'll do. That takes 2 amps. You know what? We'll just do a couple HV energy hatches. These aren't terrible. The pumps are a bit annoying, but all right. So that will be that, and then EV. I guess we need. Let's see. The glass tier has to be 2 of the highest capacitor, -2. All right, the highest capacitor we'll have is probably the IV ones. So I need HV glass. All right, so got some more crafting up to do because these you basically just put. I'll just move the energy orb from the ones I've already created into it. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, we are back, and I have been crafting up a few things here. Also automated a few more things. And yeah, so I needed to open up this quest. It was locked, but it is actually locked behind this chain, so I just finally got around to doing those quests. I'd never finished this quest. I never just held the items. So I ended up finishing that. I forgot to... Yeah, that iron chloride you can just buy with coins, so... yeah, I never finished that. So there we go. There is the Lapotronic energy orb. I needed one more of those anyway, so I was like, let's just do this chain for that. Now, for the multi-block, we're going to need 9. If you look under the capacitor part at the end, it says 9 to 135 blocks. Well, 9's the lowest. And also, you can use empty capacitor to save materials. You use it for less than half the blocks. Well, if we need 9, then I can use 4 empty capacitors. I can always just add a crystal, a Lapotronic crystal, or the energy orb when I craft them up. I just don't have everything for that. So we'll do that. We'll do 5 of the other ones, and I think we can... They don't have to be, like, empty, right? Ooh, does that? It makes it seem like it needs to be empty. I hope that's not the case. Like, this one you can... It's, like, bouncing back and forth, so I'm like, oh, we could probably do whatever. That one makes me a little bit nervous that I won't be able to use the ones that I have over here. Because I don't want to have to craft up more of those. They are relatively expensive at this point. Alright, maybe not. Anyway, I have gone ahead and done this. Now, I am actually going to have to break this down. Because I placed it down before I got credit for the thing, because it wasn't unlocked yet. So, I need to break it all down, and we'll get credit for it. And even here, it says... we're not going to do EV. That's a bit annoying. I'm just trying to think, like... Is it worth having to... I mean, we don't get anything for these quests. It's kind of annoying, though. They're not done. I do want to complete that. But we're not going to be doing... I mean, I guess I could just turn those... I guess I could just turn them into the EV ones. Instead of having empty, I could just throw Lapotrons. Yeah, let's do that. Can we... Question is, can I can get the stuff back. All right, cool. And I do have an unpackager. All right, so I'll just do the 5, and then since I have... I'll get rid of 1. And then I'll replace it with these 4. I'm going to get rid of this, basically. Okay, I think I may have this done. I did the quest, at least, whatever it told me in the quest. I just needed the borosilicate glass, which you get from boron. Obviously, I do have this set up. I am processing all the salt that I got from earlier from all when I needed a bunch of chlorine. So yeah, I am getting the borax and then throwing it in there. That gives me 4 boron. So yeah, eventually we will get that sorted. But that's just gonna work through that for a little while. But I think that might be enough now. Question is, how do I want to go about changing all this? I guess I can. I guess I don't need this anymore, really. Because that's going to go right in there. I have the other 2, which is actually going to go this way. Actually, let's get this built. I didn't do... Just thinking, I'm like, I hope that doesn't... I'm like, I hope I don't lose that glass if I break it. So we'll put that in the middle. Then the EV ones like that. And then I'm assuming this just goes on the outside. So that. And hopefully I did this right. And then as we go, we will obviously replace these. Here we go. Still incomplete. So I may have to kind of sort out what is wrong. Do we think it is having more than one hatch? Do we think it is having a buffered dynamo hatch? Do we think? I'm gonna, let me, it might be this. Which, if I can't do the buffered, that might be a bit of an issue, actually. Because we'll only be able to output 1 amp. Unless I do, like, 4 dynamos. So let me do a little bit of testing. It did turn blue, though. Which kind of tells me that it works. So as we can see, these have changed. So that tells me, like, when it did the check, it's like, yeah, that's cool. And we use the correct amount of glass. So that is that. I wonder if... Let's think. The glass shell has to be tier -2 of the highest capacitor. Well, the highest capacitor is IV. So -2 would be the HV, which is the borosilicate is HV. Alright. Can we not mix and match? Is that a thing? No, I don't think so. Maybe? Does they all have to be the same? Is that a thing? We'll be back when I figure this out. Okay, that took me a little bit of testing, and what it was, the 4 empty capacitors did not work, but 5, or yeah, the 4 didn't work, but the 3 do. So I'm guessing this doesn't work. Unfortunately, you need 6 and 3. I have a feeling it's probably like a rounding thing, maybe. I don't know. I'm not about to pretend like I know. But yeah, I just upgraded one of the empty ones with one of the things over here. So I took one of those out and upgraded it. I left those in there because I want to get this set up first. Because as soon as I pull these out, everything is going to kind of break. I mean, we still have 40 million there, but if I want to run something, or if I'm like, oh shoot, I need more of this steel or whatever, I won't be able to run the thing if I break it all. So yeah, I got it to work, and it does work with the dynamo. I figured it did, because it turned blue, which tells me that is right. So here we go. Let's just do that. And that should be Yeah, all right, cool. So that is there. Unfortunately, it doesn't have like a GUI or anything. Well, it has sort of GUI, but it doesn't tell you unless you hit it with the thing. So total capacity 240. Passive loss 1 EU per tick. Blah blah blah. Working perfectly. So I guess let's hook this up. Now I did just do a backup because this can output 4 amps, but I'm like pretty sure that will only pull 2 amps, so I don't think it's going to be an issue. This carries 3 amps, but maybe this will not work. I don't know. Are we going to blow up? I just did a backup, so yeah, I thought it would be fine. Is that outputting? Is that not outputting? No, it's taking in. Let's where is energy? No, that doesn't look like it is. Doesn't look like that's working, does it? All right. So why aren't you working? That is connected, right? Yep. That should be emptying out. If I'm not completely crazy. No, it's still filling up. All right. Still working on... Still we're trying to work out the kinks. HV energy hatch. That should be accepting 2 amps. Oh, I need to hit it with the soft mount. I didn't even realize that was a thing. I guess that makes sense. All right. Is it going to blow up? No, didn't blow up. There we go. It is sending 2 amps of EU over. As we can see, 1024. So that's 2 amps of HV. Is this emptying? Yeah, that's slowly emptying. We're not producing 2 amps of HV. Also, I don't know if I mentioned this, but I did put a super tank down there for distilled water. I was voiding it all. I'm like, well, that's kind of silly. Why don't I build up a buffer? So super tank's really easy to craft up. All right, so we got that going. The other question would be, how am I going to do this? I guess we will... Don't really need that anymore. I guess we could... This is going to be a bit awkward until I get this better located, but... I guess we could... I could just run this cable over. I don't know. Let me. I guess I could just move this. I mean, I don't have to have this ready. I just don't want to move it twice. Because, like I said, this is all going to be broken down once we convert it to superheated steam and that. So, I guess I'll just pipe this out into here. I guess that makes sense, right? Because this is converting it down to 4 amps of, yeah. Maybe I should just convert those. I need to get this going into it. And also, these need to be replaced really soon. All right, let me, maybe I'll move this. Yeah, that makes sense. I'll move it over there and then... I mean, technically, this doesn't need to be right here. Also, I am not using this right now. I will eventually, but right this second, I am not using this because I didn't really need to. Guess I could just move that over there. we're piping that in there and that in there. I'm not piping the lubricant in though. I just don't want to move all this stuff to move it again. That is why I am umming and ahhing about this. Because this isn't probably not going to be the final location for this. Like basically right where this is, and then all this is going to be broken down and moved. But I don't want to do that until I actually need to. Okay, so this all should be working. Now this is like spaghetti cable craziness. I mean, look at this monstrosity here. But we should be good. So we should have about 4 amps down here. Yep. And then 4 amps right here. 2 amps over here. Yep. And that is going in there. This one is 1 amp of HV. There we go. And there. So basically producing the power out of there, bring it over here, and then back out into the base. So basically, I have just replaced the 2 transformers and the battery buffer of IV. I did replace those in there. I just I ran them through the assembler, and yeah. So now we have that, and here we go. We are inputting an amp of IV and outputting an amp of IV at this point, and yeah, 540 million EU per tick. Fortunately, there is obviously a passive loss here, 6 EU per tick. Not really that bad. It's like I'm basically losing more just getting the power into the thing, so it's really not that bad. But all right, so I am pretty happy with that. So moving forward, I think we will continue doing this. Question is, I was trying to get to the tier 3 rocket, and I've totally got sidetracked from that because we did need a new rocket fuel. So that was why I have ended up getting sidetracked. But I am happy we got this up. But I think I don't know. I don't know what I want to do. Continue replacing some of all our auto crafting stuff with the multi-blocks because they are super convenient. Or yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna have to think about that. But or do we want to replace this? I could get all this because it does get a bit laggy over there with all the GregTech item pipes and stuff. But that's a pretty big build as well. Yeah, I'm gonna have to think about that because I would like to get the fluid nukes. But that might be a little bit, I don't know. We need a large heat, basically a large heat exchanger. Again, lots and lots of titanium. But anyway, that's going to be it for this episode. Thanks for watching, and have a good one.